Hello guys, it is that Panda guy. I'm here again with another video, and today we are looking at the Dark Seal event and I guess some of the matchmaking. We're going to talk about some of the brackets and how I feel about it, how I think it'll turn out, and how I just overall think I guess the fighting is going to be, and some of the advantages and stuff, because I just wanted to touch on that a bit. But honestly, if I'm going to be talking right now, I wanted to start off and just say I do like, and I can also see why people might dislike this event. And one big reason is I like it for being a top commander event, near the end kill event area. But when you really consider some factors, for example, like a free-to-play player who might save up a lot and try to push, this could be bad for them if you do not limit the amount of Dark Seal events we're going to be having. So if it's, for example, every single top commander we have it during kill event, this could be bad because a lot of free-to-play, or even if you pre-design placements in your region, this is not possible because you're going to be forced to fight in a lot of cases with these other regions, right? And it just becomes a really big fest, right? It's just really bad in that situation. But I also like it because it's good for region unity in a lot of cases, and it does help because I noticed a lot of regions actually made room around their metro and stuff. Like even here, we had a PvP alliance and we destroyed the fort, so PLW could actually build in. I think Cozy built in. We already had, I think, KZE over here. But just in general, it's good for region unity. And obviously, we are more unified in our region than some other regions. But some of the regions might have more of a sense of unity, or they have a reason not to just completely kill off the region. And it's also the case with, this new event. I think that it's just really good for kind of encouraging people not to totally obliterate their own region and then it becomes dead, But yeah, now that I've blabbed enough, I do want to just talk about the bracketing. So to start off, I wanted to talk a bit about the PvP. So I think the first thing I wanted to talk about is if you're invading a region, I honestly think that there is a massive disadvantage for invaders. Like really thinking about it, even if you can launch up to 3 rallies, I think a lot of it's going to depend on, these dark relocators, for example. Where is it at? I think you find it in other, but you can, buy dark relocators, and it relocates your shelter to a specific location in the Federation's central zone and can ignore Alliance territory rules. Can only be used during the Dark Seal event. There have been speculations if this is the only way to actually teleport on other people's territory, and I honestly believe that might be the case. Whereas if you invade a region, the only other areas you can maybe teleport to, for example, with normal relocators, would be maybe teleporting on zone that isn't actually owned by land, but maybe using dark relocators to move to areas that are actually Alliance territory. So I don't know. We're going to have to actually see that and see how that works. But that being said, I think it's going to be harder to actually get everybody together. One being the teleports are really costly. And then you also consider, even if they are to launch, for example, 3 rallies from a federation, it's assumed that you're going to have to use 3 different alliances, obviously. So you're going to have to, split your strongest players into those 3 alliances, have your players joining all those rallies, and, you would assume that they would make little hives like here, 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 right? And they would basically launch from however along the way, and they would try to coordinate their rallies. And one, you have to have players in all those rallies filling. You have to actually have teleported together, and then you also have to be mindful about the players themselves maybe getting attacked by people just teleporting up, hitting their players, because if it's an average size player, it's worse. But I will say a lot of the rules in the Dark Seal event make this very favorable. For example, the shield thing, I don't know where to find it. War protection, it puts a shield on someone that burns, but the shield also requires a period of time to regenerate. So if you are able to, I guess, send out your troops or whatever, since there's also a limit on how much you can get your resources looted, right? Resource protection. You could honestly reinforce your whales, for example, and you could just join rallies like that. And I don't know, I think that might work. But honestly, invading a region is really hard. You're fighting into Alliance territory. If they have really good metro control around it and surrounding it, you're kind of doing longer march times. They're refreshing faster. Overall, it's just a much bigger hassle, and getting all your players into that region, and then you're also kind of giving up a lot of your region. So just in general, I think it just says a lot, right? But I wanted to talk about that, saying it's way harder for invaders. And that being said, it's also like a lot of regions are focused on their main alliance. So if you do not have a really strong region but just one strong alliance, that is really hard. And I'm sorry guys if you guys really hated me blabbing, but now I'm going to talk about the bracketing. So first off, we'll talk about Battlefield 1. There's obviously my region, there's Region 10, and there's Region 13. I think from what I know, at least from our side, from Boone, we and Region 4 as a whole, we are making a nap with Region 13. I think it's one big reason being they are just much smaller, right? This bracket is really scuffed, and these guys, I don't think they can do much. Like, I think in general they are a strong region might wise and number wise, but they also just lack whales, right? If it came to like field presence or something, how are you going to have a bunch of, let's say, 30 million players, for example, fighting a bunch of 100 million players? Even if you have number advantage there, it's not really going to matter much if you're getting utterly just obliterated in trades. So I feel like they would just get the rough end of the stick. And I mean, even if you're getting your metro push, I don't know how these guys would really combat either 10 or 4, right? Trying to take over their metro. That being said, I think, like, for example, invading 10 would be very hard. They have really good metro surrounding. They have their alliances actually ported up, and then it's also just they're extremely strong. And it's the same with 4. I think invading 4 and taking metro would be a pretty big challenge, especially if we're active and stuff. But it also depends about the players, because I don't know how many people can actually drop their shields, because a lot of these players could be vulnerable. You don't get that double hospital capacity, so getting swarmed down is very viable and it's very doable to actually, I guess, make someone take reds here. And I don't know about even burning out before island raid. It just sounds unreasonable, and it sounds a bit crazy to actually put all your energy in this event, and it's kind of a waste right before island. So I feel like it'd be better off if we didn't fight super hard, or if we didn't have to fight super hard, but it really depends on our opponents. That being said, I think there have been pretty good agreements here where, like, for example, even Antipede, I think everybody's made an agreement not to mess with each other during Antipede, which is pretty chill. But yeah, we'll talk about Battlefield 2. We got 16, obviously, big HMB, and then we have 12 and 17. I think I was looking at these regions. I think 17 are probably the small fries of this bracket, and that's not to say they're small at all. They obviously got some pretty big players over here, but when you really consider, I don't know, because the thing is, you got, I don't know, 2.4 bill, and even then, alliance size isn't even all of it, right? Like, with big alliances like HMB or just the region, you got to have whale meta. I feel like a lot of these alliances honestly have a big group of whales, right? They have a pretty good group of whales, and if they're able to kind of maintain around metro, it really depends how many players from like HMB would be able to show up to kind of overwhelm these guys. But their alliances combined, I would say, like, maybe matches up to HMB's might wise. It really depends on how many whales they can have show up or whatever. That's gonna be really dependent on that. And then you're also looking at like Region 12. I feel like Region 12 is in a better situation or spot here, but it also depends on just how many people are willing to fight. You have a lot of big whales, even like just one alliance here, 7 billion. You got Fox 1. I think these guys are the biggest here, being at like almost 8 billion. And then another 6 billion alliance. Honestly, really big. But then again, like I said, it's going to really depend on how many people can push the field. And I don't even know if it's worth it. Like I said, I don't even know if this event's worth all the freaking action. I mean, if one region wants to put in all the effort, it kind of forces another region to feel more obliged to put in the effort to kind of keep their metro. I think people are over sensitive about actually keeping metro. I don't know if putting all that effort into keeping metro for the next week is worth it. I get the argument, oh, you'll lose metro for your week of island, but it's also like, would I want to burn billions of resources or all my freaking resources and speed ups on freaking maintaining metro when island's around the corner? You know what I mean? I feel like it really depends on how much effort these other alliances are willing to put in. And then there's G3, I say G3, B3, I guess, Battlefield 3. We got 2, we got 15, and we got 21. I think 2 is by far the small fries here, especially when you really consider that there's been a lot of there's a big lack of region unity here. You got a FX3, none of them want to help. Pyro, they got pushed out of mid, they don't want to help. And reasonably so. Like, all these alliances, like even Savs, they aren't happy, and they're not going to help Doom here. Doom is basically on their own, and it's like 5 bill alliances versus multiple united regions. And from what I know, there is big unity between like a region like I don't know, 15 or 21, and there's a lot more whales as well. So even if it shows their strength being the highest here, I feel that not Region 2 is by far the weakest. And, there's also a lot of farmers even with this strength, right? So I feel like they would get totally overwhelmed, not able to push the field if like even a group of whales came from 15 or 21, but I know there's actually issues. There's like I feel from what I heard there's just issues between 15 and 21, or at least some alliances in like 15 and 21. So that really might just make Doom just sit on the side. Nothing coming at Doom. Honestly, it really depends on how much these guys are willing to put up. But I don't know, man. Like you see these guys showing up hard. You got some pretty good whales from Soap, to Yadek and Jan. I know there's some whales. I'm not sure about G3R. Yeah, like it's 80 mil. I mean, obviously there's some 80, 70 mil players there. I know Arkham has a few. Like I honestly feel like 21 are the big boys here, right? Not only, by the way, are they just strong, I feel that there's some fighters here. Yeah, I mean, you got a pretty good whale base here. And then it's also like these guys are just fighters. They're very organized from what I've seen in the past. So I don't know, man. I honestly think that 21 are the big guys here. I feel that 15 obviously aren't weak, but I feel that either region trying to invade each other probably wouldn't work out the best. It really depends on how organized you can be and stuff, and if you can split enough alliances to kind of also maintaining those rallies. Even if you're launching 3 rallies, maintaining 3 rallies in 3 different alliances, especially if a lot of your players are smaller and aren't able to actually join those rallies or aren't able to drop their shields or even teleport in. You don't know how many people are able to teleport in. That's going to be really hard. I don't know if I'm blabbing too much, guys. You let me know in the comment section if you honestly enjoyed this video. So Battlefield 4, you have RPG here. And although I think the big thing is about 3, you see their region might is honestly so low in comparison. But the thing is, it's like I feel that RPG is the really only thing here. And that's not to say anything against Region 3, but I feel RPG is Region 3, right? That's just Region 3. Like it has really no more solid alliances, if you ask me, or anything. But yeah, I don't know. You got 3 there though. If RPG can show up with strength, I mean, I don't know, because I know that 8 is honestly strong. You got Fine there. You got other pretty beefy alliances. I feel that would be kind of hard to overwhelm. I also know that these 2 are somewhat friendly with each other from what I know. I don't know how 9 would do. I think 9 are probably the small guys in this bracket. Just honestly, I think I just don't know. It really depends on their whales, right? Like 6 billion. They have a few whales here. I don't know. I don't know how much 9 could put up. I think 9 could still defend their metro. I just don't think that they could go in trying to steal a metro from either of those regions, Battlefield 5, you got AOW here. I don't know. I don't even know who's in 14, honestly. 18, I can't say I'm super freaking savvy with these 2 regions. All right, I covered this region before. It doesn't even look like this alliance is coming around Metro. You really want to be fully surrounding Metro, because now it just means people can teleport right here. That just makes them super close. It's also over here, I don't know, man. People are not showing up. And I mean, even if you have a ton of people over here, you're giving like leeway around Metro, whereas I think completely surrounding Metro kind of forces people to teleport further back, and that just makes it so hard, right? Like that makes it so hard to defend this thing, even if they have dude, I don't know. That one's a hard one to say. I don't know if I don't think there's a lot of whales in 14. I think there's like a few strong players, obviously, but I don't think there's like a lot of whales in 14 to kind of maintain that. And then you got AOW at like pretty strong. I'll look at that last, honestly. I don't know about 18. Oh yeah, okay, 18. AC 18. Yeah, these guys are freaking beasts. They're freaking organized. There's some monsters. I think everybody joined they joined AC 18 for this one. Because I looked at these other alliances. I mean, there's this one. I feel like they should have maybe made way for them. Even if they're not going to do much, I think they could have taken up like one side of the metro, kind of filled up the area, and then you have AC-18 on the other sides. But either way, AC-18 is pretty strong. I mean, 11 comes in. I don't think 11 would really be able to overwhelm them, honestly. And even then, from what I know, there's obviously been allegiances in the past, so I don't think that 11 would push them. But I'm not really sure how all the agreements are working between those regions. That really depends, I don't know. I think I'm just freaking. I don't know if you guys enjoyed this video. I think I'm just gonna end it there. You guys tell me if you enjoyed this, if you guys enjoyed my little ramble, my little TED talk. But you guys let me know in the comments. I had fun just rambling on. So I do appreciate you guys as always, though, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video and me just talking about this. But you guys have a good day or night, though, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.